The Trey Hendrickson possibility to Atlanta is not only back, but it is stronger than ever. And in this video, I'm going to break down what happened over the last 24 hours that says Trey Hendrickson will not only be traded, but Atlanta will be a great suitor for him. Now, if you don't know, Trey Hendrickson went on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. He said a lot, and he really I hate to say this, but he really was very transparent with the whole process. Something that a lot of people have not seen before, especially in contract negotiations. Trey Hendrickson basically was calm. He had a cool, calm demeanor, and he basically said what was going on. And all of this can be encompassed in one thing. The Cincinnati Bengals are not at this point willing to pay Trey Hendrickson what his value is. He even used an analogy of the home values, and they go up after time. And the Cincinnati Bengals essentially is what I'm getting. Essentially, what I get is that they're trying to pay for home value 3 years ago rather than pay the home value price right now. And that was pretty much evident in this tweet and in this interview. Now, there are several tweets that kind of encompass this, but also there are several tweets that kind of say what the GM and the executive team feel about Trey Hendrickson. All I'm saying is a pot of mess, but I'm going to break this down in this video right now. But before I get to this video, please do me a favor. If you like this hat, the Great Barrier Thief, shout out to Dyson Daniels, my opinion, the defensive player of the year, and you want to grab this hat, link is in the description below. Really cool, stylish, trendy, retro hat that is shouting out Dyson Daniels, the Great Barrier Thief. Now to the video. Now, like I said, there are several tweets, but the first tweet that I kind of want to bring up is basically by Underdog NFL, and it says this: as Trey Hendrickson on extension talks with the Bengals, he says, Trey Hendrickson says, communication has been poor over the last couple months. That's something I hold in high regard. They have not communicated with my agent directly. It's been something that's been a little bit frustrating. Wow. I've heard reports that come out and said Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals were in contract negotiations. A deal is about to be done soon. All of that apparently is a lie, because straight from the horse's mouth, the Cincinnati Bengals has not even called or talked to Trey Hendrickson's agent. That is a big red flag if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, and this allows me, or lets me know, that the Atlanta Falcons actually have a chance, because they haven't even talked about contracts in Cincinnati. I digress. Let's move on. Now, the second big tweet that I saw, it was a media source asking an executive leader of the Cincinnati Bengals. They basically asked the EVP, Katie Blackburn, on Trey Hendrickson contract status, and she says this. This is very, very weird and very interesting. He should be happy at certain rates that maybe he doesn't think he'd be happy at. I think some of it's on him to be happy at some point. And if he's not, that's what holds it up sometimes. Wow, I cannot read. That's what's holding us up sometimes. We have all the respect in the world for him. He's been a great player. We're happy to have him. And so maybe we'll find a way to get something to work. This is huge, because they're basically calling out Trey. We've offered Trey, or we want to offer Trey this. He doesn't want to take this. And I am going to be completely honest. I feel like that they're trying to offer him is not enough, especially after they paid their 2 receivers. They're trying to get Trey Hendrickson at a bargain price. This was also said a little earlier when I compared it to the home and the home value part. They're trying to get Trey Hendrickson at this value when the home prices have gone up. Now, that's been going up because of the recent signings of Myles Garrett, Max Crosby. So I would say the number should be around the 38 to 40 range, probably 35 to 40. If I'm guessing, now this is just me speculating, I bet the Cincinnati Bengals are offering 25, maybe 30. And they're saying, look, you should take this 25 and 30 and be happy. Trey Hendrickson says, look, I have led the league in sacks over the last year, and I've been top 5 the last 2 years. You're not going to pay me last year's dollars for this contract extension. He also mentions in the interview that he was trying to get a deal done 3 years ago. They didn't want to pay him his money now. Why would he do them any favors if he was trying to get a contract done 3 years ago? One more tweet I want to read that's very, very interesting. It basically says by Brian, he's talking about basically GMs, what you need to do. He says, if you're an NFL GM, you got to be making calls about Trey Hendrickson. That interview seems like a culture changer, and it backs it up on the field. Doesn't hurt, he can fish too. So, I would agree to Brian. He says, this guy is an amazing culture changer. GMs, if you have the opportunity to get this guy in your locker, do not hesitate, because we know what he can do on the field, but he seems like a guy that can set the tone and set the culture. He also says the Cincinnati Bengals aren't getting it done. They haven't even called his agent. Then they're trying to pay him last year's money value. What is going on with the Cincinnati Bengals? They have a guy that could be that staple piece for years and years to come, but they just are sitting, trying to kind of twiddling their thumbs and saying, we're trying to get you for a cheap deal. Now, if I'm the Atlanta Falcons, you have one move you can make, and that's really honestly the easy move. Give up a high draft pick for Trey Hendrickson. He solidifies something that you don't have or haven't had in 5 to 10 years, and plus it allows you the freedom to draft who you want from a best player available in this draft coming up. You don't have to worry about having to get a pass rusher when you got Trey Hendrickson. You pair Trey Hendrickson with Leonard Floyd, with Arnold Ebiketie, with Braylon Trice, you're starting to get better. Also, you can take this time to maybe either get a pick back for one of your players and get another developmental pass rusher. You start to build a roster out where you go into the draft not needing a pass rusher. You can get the best player available on defense. I will say that we got to get a defensive player. Also, like I mentioned, you insert 17 sacks into the Atlanta Falcons. They are not only a playoff, they're probably a second to third round playoff team. I'm just saying. You have really, really, really efficient players on offense. You are lackluster on defense. This guy will not only build a culture, he will set the tone, and he will get to the quarterback. Something that you have not done in 5 years. And if I'm Terry Fontenot, I know a lot of people are going to say, don't give up a high draft pick. You got to make this happen, especially after the news that came out yesterday where Trey Hendrickson says, no one wants to pay me in Cincinnati. I want to go somewhere where they want to pay me long term, and I want to stay there and put my family there. And the Atlanta Falcons could be that team. But if you agree or disagree, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feel about Trey Hendrickson and how this trade is still alive. For some reason, a lot of people said it was dead. It is still alive and thriving. And also, like I said, if you want to pick up this hat, link is in the description below. And like always,